Thank you for tuning into the L. Henderson Real News Show, issues, views, and solutions. The L. Henderson Real News Show is designed for you to listen, learn, and invest your knowledge and skills in your community. The show's format will be clear and direct. Each show will identify a problem. It will determine who benefits from the problem. The show will also determine who is the victim. And finally, we will show you how to create a prioritized action plan for success that can change your life, family status, and community in 30, 60, 90 days guaranteed. The L. Henderson Real News Show will identify, address, and teach you how to resolve problems in education, economics, politics, religion, community development, and local, state, national, and international affairs. So I want you to stay tuned for the L. Henderson's Real News Show. Hello viewers, this is Eldridge Henderson from the L. Henderson Real News Show. Part of being successful is dressing for success. This is why I want to tell you about Pennywise Cleaners, who's been serving the Southwest Jackson community for over 3 years at 4590 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi. Pennywise delivers friendly service with a smile. Whether drop-off, drive-through, or delivery, Pennywise has got you covered. All work is done on-site using state-of-the-art equipment to keep you sharp and clean. A penny saved is a penny earned. At Pennywise Cleaners, located at 4590 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. For more information, the number is 601-372-0097. Pennywise Cleaners is a proud sponsor of the L. Henderson's Real News Show. Hello viewers, this is the first edition of the L. Henderson Real News Show in 2016. Today I have two very important national guests. Miss Addie Green, a former alderman from Bolton, Mississippi. She is also a community analyst. She is a political consultant, and she is a lover of the Democratic Party. And my other guest today is Brother Lakata. He is a representative from New Africa, and he is here in Mississippi to engage in politics, economic development, and of course, education and training. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start with Sister Addie Green from Bolton, Mississippi. Sister Green, I want you to tell us briefly about you and your early upbringing and why you started engaging in politics and community development at an early age. I remember you back in the 1960s when you were a mother, a wife, and a worker. You worked in a certain location and you started agitating and unionizing and disturbing the peace in your community, and you've been doing it ever since. How can you address that?
Well, I started on this journey at an early age, as you say. We then, at that time in Bolton, we had what they call CDGM, and during the summer months, we would work as a summer worker. It was called NYC, and after that, it engaged me to just get involved in activities. I got involved with Dr. King and all the poor folks of the civil rights era, and Chokwe Lumumba and all of them. And that's how I became involved. I became involved because they were doing things. They wanted to make a difference. My father, who's Roosevelt Lee, was a sharecropper and a farmer, and you know at that time to go to school, it was that you had to work on the farm, and after working on the farm, you may have gone to school maybe 2 months to 3 months out of a year. And so I wanted to make sure that in the process of the NAACP that we do more for the community.
All right.
To bring about the laws.
Very good, Ms. Green, but now I see a contradiction in what you're saying. You are telling me you were supporting Dr. Martin Luther King and Chokwe Lumumba at the same time, and that is a contradiction right there. Because if you work with King, you were talking about integration, and if you're working with Attorney Chokwe Lumumba, you were talking about separation. So now how can you distinguish as to which one you're going to do?
Well, first of all, it was about education, and it was about being involved, and so you could take both of them both of the organizations and put them together. The difference were with Dr. King, he was trying to make a difference by marching, involving everybody. Chokwe Maluma was doing the same thing through the RNA, and where they bought the land out there on Highway 22. So they wanted to make a difference. So both of those organizations was going hand in hand to make sure that they involve people.
That's good. I know that, and that's why I wanted you to let the viewers know what is going on, especially during that period. Now, when you talk about the Republic of New Africa and the NRA, that is what it is, the Republic of New Africa, that's where Brother Licata comes in. He is an advocate of similar ideas, liberation, community development, and he's also a person that believes strongly in cooperative economics.
Most definitely.
And he is concerned about politics, and he loves Democrats in a certain instance. And let's look at that, Brother Licata. Give our viewers a short summary of your major activities so they can see that you did have a good reason to remain in Jackson. I understand you came here some years ago for just a short period of time, and you are still here 25 years later.
Well, we came down here because, again, I have roots in Mississippi. My mother was born in Boonesville, Mississippi, which is right in northeastern Mississippi, just 17 miles from the state line, headed toward Jackson, Tennessee. So I had roots here, so I had purpose for coming to Mississippi. In coming to Mississippi, I wanted to make sure when I got to Mississippi, I saw some gaps in services, and I wanted to try to do what I could to fill some of those gaps. And some of those gaps included cultural, the idea of having some cultural things that weren't being fulfilled. When you talk about the Republic of New Africa, the RNA, you're talking about our people understanding, having a better understanding of their heritage as Africans, people of African descent. And I wanted to fill some of that gap. So one of the things that I was able to do when I first came here was to organize what they call the Community Kwanzaa celebration. And we coordinated that event for 15 years, then passed it on to another person who worked under me and worked with that person for 5 years. And then another person came in and we've been working with that person. So we've been keeping the cultural aspects of our relationship with the motherland alive and well.
Okay, well that's good. I am familiar with Kwanzaa and some of those activities. I know you did a great job for some years. And I understand now they have a new director, a young man named Brother David Mosley. Do you think he's doing a great job now?
He's done a fine job of keeping the principles of Kwanzaa out and in the open so that the community can be fully aware of what they are, and at the same time, also encouraging them to use those principles on a yearly basis. It's one thing to celebrate Kwanzaa from December the 26th through January the 1st, but when you look at those living principles, then you live those principles all year round.
That's right, because you're talking about unity, cooperative economics, familyhood, and especially community development and pooling your resources.
Exactly, yes, sir.
And the people in the community to do this 24 hours a day, 12 months a year.
12 months a year, 365 days a year.
Okay, well that's real good. Now we're going to get back to Miss Green. Miss Green, I understand that you are an educator. You believe in educating the people in the community and letting them know when issues are very important. And in order to do that, I understand you got hooked up with the Democratic Party some time ago. And I'm just going to tell you the truth, Ms. Green. I don't see anything significant that the Democratic Party has done for the state of Mississippi in the last 4 to 8 years. Now, can you tell us if I'm correct or whether I'm slightly off base?
Well, there have been some accomplishment made with the Democratic Party. You do understand now in Mississippi we have more black elected officials than in other states, but we do have some glitches going on.
Well, I hate to be rude, but I'm going to interrupt you there and just tell you, when you have a majority of black officials, and I've heard this all over the nation for the last 15 years, we have the most black officials. But when you have most black officials in areas where they were not in control, and you still have the same folks, that's the attorney and the advisors and the funders of the politicians, and you don't see nothing but maintenance of the status quo. What good has that done?
Well, you do understand now, since the day of Aaron Henry and Fannie Lou Hamer and Ben Hooks, somehow we got miseducated on the things that we should do after we've gotten elected. First of all, you wasn't involved. Second of all, you didn't know what you need to do when you got to the table. And when you're an opportunist, then because you're black, then you think that it's all right for you not to do anything for your community.
Wait a minute, Ms. Green. Now, you are alleging that some of the elected officials of a certain race are opportunists.
Some of them
Are
are.
you saying that?
And politicals too.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Now, I
sir.
don't want you to
Yes,
name
sir.
anyone, but are any of them in Hines County and the state
Plenty of them,
Mississippi?
plenty of them. I don't plan to name any of them, but the voters out there can see that a lot of problems that exist is because they don't know how. They are opportunists. They're looking out for number one, me, and I.
Okay, now, let's address some of the specific issues that there are some major shortfalls in currently in Hines County and the state of Mississippi, where, in your opinion, you think if the politicians were more prone to be independent, they could make some corrective actions in 30, 60, 90 days in these areas. Can you mention some of it?
Well, some of them are staying in office too long, and they've gotten to be politicos. For example, our streets in rural Hines County where I live, the bridge is out, and they spending more money on rerouting the bridge rather than fixing the bridge. How long does it take a politician to appropriate to make sure that everybody at the table understand that instead of putting all the money in rerouting a bridge, fix the bridge?
Ms. Green, you don't seem to understand. I thought you knew something about politics. When a person funds a politician, give him some money to run for office, he is basically going to tell him what to do. Most of them are contractors or they know contractors. So when there is a need for community development, they are going to encourage the politician to spend money so they can get the contract. Now, you know that's what's happening.
Well, that's the reason I say some of them come to the table, fool the voters, that they are educated on the needs of the people. They are miseducated, and they are there for me, and I.
Okay. Brother Licata, do you agree with that?
Well, let me give you another example of some of the issues that we have that have to be corrected. Right now, the legislature, Mississippi legislature, has near, if not by 2 votes, what they call a supermajority of Republicans. Now, what does that mean? That means that the Democratic Party has sold themselves to the Republicans.
Oh, you believe that?
No doubt about it. I mean, we have what we call infiltration, and the Republican Party has fully infiltrated the Democratic Party.
I thought they had a great state leader named Ricky Cole that was running the Democratic Party. Am I wrong?
Probably the greatest imitation Democrat that you ever meet.
Wait now, you're getting too strong here,
The
Brother
greatest
Licata.
imitation
Democrat.
Democrat.
Wait a minute, we're going to have to get back to this after the break. Now, our listeners need to hear why you're saying a certain Democrat is an imitator of what? Republicans or what?
Greatest imitation Democrat.
Oh,
so what do that make
imitation.
him? A Republican.
It does? Well, we're going to find out the real deal on this thing when we get back from the break. Miss Addie Green, I know you're here, Brother Licata. I'm going to have to get this thing squared away so our listeners will know what's going on in the Democratic Party.
We want to tell you.
Maybe some of them will think about alternative parties then if you were going to tell us in just a few minutes that something is wrong.
We're going to tell you.
I hate to hear the bad news, sir. I want good news on the L. Henderson Real News
I thought
Show.
you wanted the truth.
Oh, I do. I'm going to be frank with you. I really do. You're so smart, Brother Licata. I guarantee you I'm going to have to get Kenneth Stokes to give you an award. You're a good man. Stay tuned. We're going to come back with the real news about the Democratic Party and our guests, Miss Addie Green and Brother Licata, our new African specialist, will tell us everything we need to know. Stay tuned.
The Action Leadership Institute has office space for rent at North Jackson off I-55 South at 5435 Executive Place Office Park, located in a high-traffic count area. There are 4 offices available, 1 office space, 650 square feet, 3 offices, 150 square feet each. All are available today with first month free and deposit. Ideal spot for established businesses and startups such as law and tax offices, insurance companies, boutiques, counseling centers. Again, the address is 5435 Executive Place Office Park, shown by appointments only. The number is 601-201-1957.
Thank you, viewers, for staying with us. We're getting ready now for part 2 of this show, L. Henderson Real News, with Brother Licata and Miss Addie Green. Now, Brother Licata is a specialist in politics. I know he's worked at a certain university. He studied political science, educational management, and other things. Now, I also understand that Brother Licata has some real good skills in management. So, Brother Licata, you mentioned that some ills are present in the Democratic Party. So let's look at some solutions. Now, here's one ill that I want you to address. I understand that Ms. Green's political party, the Democrats, are not supporting funding-wise the candidates that are running under the banner of the Democratic Party. Some don't get not 1 penny from the Democratic Party, and usually they lose to the opponents. Is there a problem there, or am I wrong? And if so, correct me.
Well, again, as we stated earlier, you have some individuals that are a part of the Democratic Party, especially a part of the state board, what they call the executive board of the Democratic Party, who are actually Republicans in disguise. Okay, they're disguising themselves as Democrats, but they're actually Republicans. And as we said earlier, I'm just convinced that Ricky Cole is one of those individuals who is a Republican in disguise as a Democrat. And when you have a situation where you get funds from the national office that is targeted for supporting Democratic candidates, and those Democratic candidates never see any of that money, then we have to figure out, well, where did that money go? When you get money from the national party that is targeted for a get out the vote campaign, and the party itself never has a get out the vote campaign during a major gubernatorial election, then you have to wonder, well, what did they do with the money?
Well, Brother Licata, you have to be realistic. Now, you just can't blame one person on the executive committee. Don't they have other folks? Isn't there a team of people that are managing the day-to-day activities of the Democratic Party?
Well, the person at the current time, the person who is the executive director of the Democratic Party is also the chair of the party. So he's answering to himself.
Well, now, didn't you and Miss Green and some of the others allow that to happen? I'm just going to call it straight. This is real news. Miss Green, I want Miss Green to answer that. Are you responsible for that, Miss Green, directly, indirectly?
Indirectly, because of the fact that the state board is comprised of 82 counties. And when you have a chair and a director that does not communicate to the 82 county board members, then that's where the problem comes, where you're getting paid. And then you got a paid staff member who are locally to coordinate and educate folk around the state, who's Miss Jackie Norris, who was working for the sheriff during the duration. And then when you glitching and putting glitches in out there for the people, for an example, in my race, they disenfranchise 160-some thousand people in Hinds County in the agriculture race, disallowed them to vote for me in the August election.
Why did that happen?
Because they didn't communicate, they did not use procedure as the chair of the Hinds County Democratic Party. And she's the chair for all of the counties. And so if you did not put a plan together and did not allow, from the educated standpoint and the administrative standpoint, then that's where the failure came with owning and putting the Democratic Party in the hands of the Republican Party.
Okay, Ms. Green, you just gave the solution to that problem. You're saying someone didn't plan, so that's the plan itself. When you don't plan, then the opponents can come in and win the battle and the war. And I understand you all were so nice to certain candidates, you all approved them to run as Democrats. And when they got in office as a Democrat, within days, they switched to another party. Now, I'm saying now, someone in that group that you are associated with, and Brother LaCarter, are not addressing and interviewing the candidates and making sure their platform are cognizant to what you believe, and the platforms are not going to be that way unless you all demand that it happen, and then put some kind of restriction in your policies and procedures where if you're elected as a Republican or Democrat, in your case Democrat, you cannot switch parties until the end of your current term. Now, why you all won't do something like that?
Well, I think that we do need to go back. February the 13th is a time that we need to point out those persons who are coming to get elected as the Democrat to come to the county and then to the state and to the district. I think that they need to be educated, and I think that this is so good that you bring all of this to play, because someone needs to pick up that they need to go to the polls to make a difference in the Democratic Party in the 82 counties in the state of Mississippi. They ought to be educated when they decide that they want to be board members to make a difference in the state of Mississippi.
Well, there is a solution to that. I understand you're going to have some precinct meetings soon, Brother LaCarter. Now, what are you all going to do in these local precincts that can help us move forward in the state of Mississippi in a democratic manner where we can control state elections, local elections, and put the right person in positions of responsibility?
Well, I think what we're talking about is exactly what she just mentioned. On February the 13th, they're going to be what they call precinct delegate selection, and that process is the step one process to becoming a member of the board for the state Democratic Party. First thing that people have to do is they have to show up at their precinct, wherever you vote at, there'll be precinct delegate selections. So you go to your precinct and indicate that you would like to be a delegate to the state board. After becoming a precinct delegate, the next level is to become a county delegate. So let's say, for example, you have 50 precinct delegates. Out of that 50, 10% or 5 of them will become county delegates. Okay? The county delegates then are eligible to become state delegates and or congressional delegates. From the state and congressional delegates, they select individuals who are going to be on the board. Those board members are the ones who select the next chairperson for the board. And we are determined for that next person not to be Ricky Cole.
Okay, now who is going to determine who those precinct leaders are when you say one can just virtually walk off the street, get into a precinct, and announce that he or she wants to be a candidate? Do you have any kind of criteria that the people have to follow in order to become a candidate?
There's no specific criteria that eliminates people from being a candidate. Again, if you're a registered Democrat and you vote at a precinct, then you're eligible to become a precinct delegate. However, we formed a organization that would be similar to the Freedom Democratic Party. And the Freedom Democratic Party was designed to take control of the Mississippi Democratic Party so that it can be equitable and fair. The new organization that we're talking about is Concerned Democrats of Mississippi. So we are recruiting individuals who are advocates for justice and fairness. And we're going to have those persons to go to the precinct and become precinct delegates and then rise up the level from there.
Okay, now that sounds like a good idea. Now, I hope you all didn't start this 2 weeks ago. I hope you've been doing this for months, organizing, planning, putting those 30, 60, and 90-day plans and guidelines in place, selecting individuals that you're going to have to attend the precinct delegates, already interview them and make sure they have the right intentions, and then getting the support vote-wise in the local areas so when they get in and make their announcement, they can win the position. Have you all done that, or you're just talking about thinking about it, and it's going to be next week, and you haven't done all those things I just mentioned yet?
One of the things that we've done is we've gotten a list of the homeowners associations. We've been visiting homeowners associations and identifying leaders within those organizations who are advocates for improving their community. And we're prepping those individuals. We're tutoring those individuals to become advocates for fairness and justice. And those are the ones that we're going to have as precinct delegates.
Okay, it appears that something getting ready to change then.
Most definitely.
You're almost talking about a new leadership under a new name, and you're going to gradually move away from the so-called standard Democratic Party to one that's going to be involved with local citizens that have a direct platform with certain demands that they're going to carry out in the community and not be controlled by what we call the current power structure.
Exactly. Yes, sir. But this is a statewide initiative.
Statewide.
It's not limited to just Hinds County or Jackson. This is a statewide initiative because we're talking about replacing the state chairperson
Okay.
of the Democratic Party.
Now, I noticed that Ms. Green here is smiling. Ms. Green, you're not thinking about becoming the state chairman, are you? You're smiling sitting over here. Or do you have somebody in mind that you want to nominate for that job? Now, if you think this is too strong for you to answer, you just slide by and do like the good politician, give another answer.
I think it's time for any and everybody to want to be the chair and to want to make a difference in the Democratic Party
Wait a
for the
minute.
state of Mississippi.
Wait a minute, Ms. Green. Now, you're being too collective now. You're saying any and everybody.
That's it.
But I'm going to wrap this up.
President Obama said, get involved. And then once you get involved, then it may educate you enough to get everybody else involved so we can elect the good chair.
All right, Ms.
And
Green.
I'm the good chair.
All right, Ms. Green. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eld Henderson Real News Show is going to come back with part 3 of the real news about the Democratic Party. We're still going to have Brother Lakota here, who is a new African from Tanzania through Philadelphia, Mississippi. He had folks up there somewhere. And he also is an out-of-stater. I understand he put a lot of years elsewhere. So as we wrap up, get ready for this same group to come back on another show and talk about the wonderful Democrats in Mississippi, the new initiatives, and we are going to be with you with news in just a few hours. So that's it for this session, and I want to thank you all for being here. And next week, I want you to come back so we can finish this wonderful discussion. Viewers, get ready for it.
Thank you for having us.
Hello, viewers. This is Eldridge Henderson from the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Part of being successful is dressing for success. This is why I want to tell you about Pennywise Cleaners, who's been serving the Southwest Jackson community for over 3 years at 4590 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi. Pennywise delivers friendly service with a smile, whether drop-off, drive-through, or delivery. Pennywise has got you covered. All work is done on-site using state-of-the-art equipment to keep you sharp and clean. A penny saved is a penny earned. At Pennywise Cleaners, located at 4590 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. For more information, the number is 601-372-0097. Pennywise Cleaners is a proud sponsor of the Eld Henderson's Real News Show.